In this video, I will tell you the story and the reasons behind the fall of the greatest kingdom of the dwarves, Khazad Dûm. It all began with Durin the Deathless, who saw a crown of stars reflected in the waters of Lake Kheled Zarum. He laid the foundation of a kingdom that became the primary trade and industrial hub of the continent. Khazad Dûm flourished for thousands of years, successfully surviving even the fall of Morgoth at the end of the First Age. Relations with the elves of the neighboring region were so strong that the city doors were almost always open to friends. You surely remember the famous West Gate, created by the great master Celebrimbor specifically for this alliance. Inside lay thousands of levels, majestic bridges and columns resembling stone trees. Their wealth seemed inexhaustible, and the strength of their walls absolutely impregnable to any external enemy. However, beneath the foundation of Mount Caradhras lurked something that even the most experienced dwarves did not expect to find. The key to their incredible rise and subsequent collapse was a unique metal, mithril. Mithril, or true silver, was valued tens of times more than pure gold. It was light as down, yet hard as dragon scales, and incredibly beautiful. Demand for it among elves and the kings of men grew, forcing the dwarves to dig their mines ever deeper. By the year 1980 of the Third Age, the mines reached depths that the sun had not reached since the creation of the world. There, in the primordial darkness beneath the roots of the mountains, slept a creature that had survived the destruction of ancient kingdoms.
We are talking about a Balrog, one of the surviving demonic servants of Morgoth. It was he who found refuge in the depths of Caradhras after the War of Wrath. He slept in the heart of the mountain for millions of years until the strikes of dwarven picks disturbed his peace. This creature, composed of fire and shadow, knew neither mercy nor fear nor fatigue. The dwarves, caught by surprise, named it Durin's Bane, and the name was justified. In a single night, the great king Durin VI was struck down by this demon in his own domain. A year later, his heir, Nain I, also fell while attempting to organize the city's defense. The mighty dwarven army, clad in the finest armor of Middle-earth, proved powerless against magic and flame. Panic swept through the halls. The inhabitants were forced to flee, abandoning their accumulated treasures and great forges. The lights of Khazad Dûm went out one by one. The city ceased to be called Khazad Dûm, which in the tongue of the dwarves meant the proud Dworodelf. The elves gave the place a new, terrifying name, Moria, which translates as the Black Pit. From that moment, dark times fell upon the once prosperous kingdom. Sauron, sensing the mountain was empty, sent his orcs and trolls to inhabit the ruins. Centuries passed, but the bitterness of loss and the longing to reclaim their home did not fade in the hearts of the dwarves. In 2989 of the Third Age, Balin, one of the members of Bilbo Baggins' quest, made a desperate attempt to retake the mountain. He brought a company of brave souls with him, hoping to clear the halls and restore mithril mining. At first, they met with success. They pushed back the orcs and even found Durin's crown. Balin officially proclaimed himself Lord of Moria, and for a moment it seemed that hope had returned. However, the dwarves found themselves trapped inside, surrounded by superior enemy forces, and after some time, the dwarven forces were completely destroyed. Decades later, the path of the Fellowship of the Ring lay through these same dangerous halls. Gandalf the Grey tried to avoid this route until the last moment, fully aware of the scale of the threat. The famous bridge of Khazad Dûm became the place where light and darkness met in a decisive duel. Gandalf sacrificed himself to defeat the Balrog. However, even after the demon's disappearance, Moria did not return to its former state overnight. Only many years later, in the Fourth Age, did Durin VII finally manage to reclaim the legacy of his ancestors. But even then, the restored city never reached the brilliance it had during the time of the first Durin. Looking at the ruins of the 21st Hall in the film's footage, we feel that former scale. Every crack in a column and every abandoned mine shaft tells its own story. I hope this excursion into the history of Khazad Dûm's transformation into Moria helped you better understand the world of Middle-earth. See you in the next videos.